All right, so I think one of the biggest questions that I get from coaches, and I think the biggest question that we have as coaches often is, how do I get my guys to win big matches and to do it consistently? And the term has been thrown around, peaking, right? But the ultimate idea is like, how do I get my guys to perform at the highest level when they need to perform at the highest level? And there's not a simple answer to this, and there's not a one size fits all. It's different for a lot of programs, and it's different for different athletes. And I think that's kind of the thing that's kind of hard about it. But the reality is, and this is what my coaches said, when I was in college, is, peaking is a state of mind. And the way that I interpret that is, we peak when we feel like we're ready to compete. And so it's a confidence thing, right? We peak when we're confident. And that has a lot to do with it. It's just building that confidence. And that takes a long time. I mean, it's a whole season thing. That's why we want to peak for the right event, right? The postseason, the state championships, the national championships, those kind of things. But it's also like a continuous thing, right? You got to have dates on your calendar that you're getting ready for and that you're going to peak for. That, like, this is a big match for us. We want to wrestle our best. This is a big event for us. We want to wrestle our best. But there's also a really big part of this is having a system and a schedule. And I mean, Coach Gable, he had a calendar that was built out as 12. It's a 12-month calendar for the entire year, and it was built to have his wrestlers wrestle their best in March when they needed to wrestle their best. And I think too often as coaches, we just don't have that structure. We don't have a training plan that's going to allow me to build the confidence in my athletes and then allow them to gain that confidence in their training and in their wrestling. That's going to allow them the confidence to go out and perform without having any reservations or doubts of how well or what they're capable of. And so the ultimate test of peaking is, how well is your season and your training structure organized? Do you have phases that are built for teaching and growth and downtime and relaxed training and hard training and cross training and strength training? All those pieces, they're built in there. And so it's a long, hard thing. And like I said, it changes every year, right? It changes depending on which guys you have in the room and which guys you have in the lineup, or which girls you have on the team. All those things change how you peak that individual. And so the idea is to build the best system that you can take athlete from point A to point B and have them ready to go when it's time to go and compete at the highest level. And you do that by having a system. And I doubt that most coaches really have that kind of system, that detailed, of really looking at what it is that I do as a coach and we do as a program that allows our athletes to have the best performance at the right times all the time. And that's what Coach Gable did. I mean, for 20 years, his guys outperformed at the right time every single time. And it didn't matter who it was. It could be a 2-time national champion that goes out and just does his job again, or a guy that gets plugged in the lineup and he's been so-so, and he just goes and has a great March and becomes a national champion. And that's what that program's been built on. That's what a lot of programs are built on, is just having those experiences. And so it does take effort, and it takes time, and it takes a ton of planning, and it takes a willingness to sacrifice certain pieces for a bigger piece at the end. And so as you're thinking about that and winning those big matches, it doesn't happen the day the big match happens. It's a systematic thing. And it ultimately comes down to how prepared your athlete is mentally to go and endure that kind of experience, right? Is he ready? Is she ready? Confident in her body, her skills, his body, and what you're telling them. And then at the end of the day, if they are, then their mind is so ready. And that's what the peaking state of mind would be, is like, I'm just that ready. I'm that tuned in. And so as you're thinking about that, and as you're planning for your team, I mean, you gotta put benchmarks in there. You gotta have different variables of training, and it allows your body to adjust and grow in the right way, where when it's time to compete, we're just full throttle competing. That's all we're worrying about. And so there's a lot in there. Hopefully you can take some pieces out there and implement that into your team and your program and your situation. But at the end of the day, it's what have you done to build the mind of your athletes to allow them to have that confidence?